So while you hit it, I love how Bravo added like Jurassic Park sound effects. We're going.
Right.
That's not what it sounds like when you bounce up against rubber.
Right.
Nice job.
Yeah, so you're saying chill, not a big deal.
Yeah, it was not a big deal.
All right, so. Welcome aboard another brand spanking new episode of Another Below Deck Podcast. My name is Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
Ahoy, mateys.
Pat, permission to come aboard, gentlemen.
Permission granted. What a wonderful episode we have to recap. More PSAs, reviews. If you're on Spotify, it's very easy. Please help us out there. If you're on iTunes, jump in, have fun. Take 5 minutes, write something funny about us.
Yeah. I was going to also mention, I want to thank the listeners because this is one of our biggest weeks that we've ever had. The show continues to grow, gets bigger. So continue to share this with friends because it's so fun to be in a car with a friend. Go, hey, you want to hear some this podcast? It's really funny. They're always like, I guess put it on. It's your car. Mm-hmm. But it always works.
Yeah.
It always works.
Oh, this is a good example of a review because it's teasing kind of what we have, coming down the pike. A new show that we're going to launch very, very soon.
Oh, okay.
This is from Hegel 2016. It's Best Bravo podcast, just period. I love the Housewives, but none of the Housewives podcasters have anything on these guys. They literally make me laugh until my stomach hurts. Laughing, crying emoji.
Wow.
And if you want to hear our Housewife coverage, it's at patreon.com/Another Podcast Network.
Hey, why don't we be really obnoxious to Bravo because they haven't been behaving themselves lately? Why don't we just call our next podcast show the Best Bravo Recap Pod Ever?
Hate that title. Also, I'm still in olive branch mode, okay? I'm still in olive branch mode.
Well, you're not dealing with
We
that.
have to talk about thoughts and pots, and that's a great point. I never communicate with anyone from Bravo. How do we feel about the episode?
You used to be really mean to what's-her-face that ended up quitting that Kate was friends with, the PR person.
Oh, yeah, I jumped in. Every time I needed to get nasty, I'd jump in and go, hey, listen, you fucker. Okay.
And then we stopped giving Dylan their email.
Right.
All right, let's get into it. Thoughts, pots, pack, go.
I'm going to say something that's controversial right out of the gate with
Shocking.
my thoughts and knots. Sandy's growing on me. The Sandy that I'm seeing this season was the Sandy of the last 3 seasons where I called her a loser.
Right.
I'd have a completely different observation of her.
She's been in the kitchen one time. She did say it was an art exhibit, which was too much. But I mean,
that was an insane thought.
Right, but it's Sandy, you know, and she is making market improvements. That's very controversial.
But to be fair, that's what parasites do. They grow on you.
Right. Well, she's growing on me. I like that. And also, aside from Queen of the Sea, Kate Chastain,
Yeah.
that
Kyle.
little number in that laundry room, Natalya,
Natalia.
is growing on me. I love her energy.
Yeah.
She's funny.
So funny.
She's attractive. I really hope she hits it off with Storm. So I'm having fun. I love RayGun not doing her job. I love the drama between Dave and Natasha. It's all fun. 90 knots.
I actually think...
Before you move on, outside of hyperbolic 100s, which he doles out every once in a while, that's got to be one of the highest knots I've ever heard from Pat.
I think he's intentionally tried to be positive.
You think? That's a really good start to this season. Nick, go.
I also love this episode. The one thing I will disagree with, to piggyback off his thoughts and not have completely separate thoughts, I'm kind of using his thoughts to formulate my thoughts.
Okay, interesting.
Is that one of my least favorite parts is Natasha Dave stuff.
Right.
I think you often see this in like sitcoms. I mean, lots of times the Ross Rachel stuff. I mean, beautiful story over 10 years,
Beautiful.
but it could slog stuff down. I don't think that's a word I'm looking for.
That's
but
good.
But I mean, there's other examples. I mean, its predecessor. Not predecessor.
You shouldn't give the examples if you don't have them.
Yeah, the successor, happy endings.
Right.
The fake Ross and the fake Rachel.
Right.
There's myriad examples.
Yes.
But yeah, this is actually one of my least favorite parts about it, but everything else, I love it. There's mutiny happening in the deck crew. Captain Sandy's being shockingly competent. Fun stuff. I'm gonna 90 knots.
90.
I'm going to give it 95 pots, and I'll tell you why. Kyle and Natalya is the best buddy thing I've seen on this show in some time. Kyle is wonderful. Natalya's wonderful. They're perfect commedia dell'arte because they are not, the main protagonists of this series, but they provide so much color. They're maximizing the color they could possibly give this show. Now let's talk about the main characters, Dave and Tosh. I'm going to be tired of this in an hour and a half, right? About, 2 more episodes of Below Deck. But there is stuff to chew on, as toxic and, you're like, oh, geez, you guys are 16 years old. There is some stuff to chew on. So even that will provide us with stuff. 95 pots. What a great episode.
You're not enjoying watching a man have his balls slowly get sucked up into his...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
everyone's been a Dave, is my point.
Everyone's been a Dave, which is why I have a little bit more sympathy for him. I've been, lusting after someone in love, They
want to fuck someone else.
So maybe it's, me identifying with my male counterpart. But from my perspective, we'll get into it. Natasha is a banshee. She is a banshee, and I'll present my case later on in the episode.
Last week you said she was a witch. This week,
yes,
banshee.
Both.
You know what she is? Perfect analogy. Look up the picture. Spot on. She's the human embodiment of Ursula from Little Mermaid.
No, Ursula is big fat.
The human embodiment. She does a spell and she goes to Earth to try to steal what's his face.
All right, so we got to get into the show. It is Bravo's Below Deck Med. And the reason why I am restating the show that we're watching is because I'm going through my Google Drive to try and find my notes.
Oh, okay.
And now I've found them. Where did we leave off last?
Sandy's got to talk to RayGun. That's where we leave off.
Wow. Bookends, huh? Mm-hmm. A Sandy and RayGun chat.
Oh, I love how this episode also, when she, not to get ahead of myself, when she called her up to the, officers' quarters, and she's going to talk to RayGun, it says, to be continued. No shit.
Right.
Yeah, you have an episode next week.
Yeah, well, we'll get there, but Nick just pulled up the human embodiment of Ursula in The Little Mermaid, and it is spot on.
Oh,
it is Natasha. It is just insane. I'm sorry I doubted you.
Thank you. What did you just say?
Doesn't matter.
No, it does. It does. I had a point to piggyback.
He said something about to be continued, obviously.
Yes. Last week, we talked about how there was such a bad cliffhanger, they continued the credits to run. Yeah. And we said the counterpart was cut to black. And this week, we got the heavy, overhanded cut to black. So it's ebbs and flows.
We are the editors of this show. So last we left off, little post-work break in the shower. Pretty sure that's like union stuff when you're talking about sea rats. But Dave and Tosh are rejuvenated. Let's hope RayGun is as rejuvenated, given her stern talking to from Captain Timeshare. She almost instantaneously begins leading, but more on that later. So Natalya is incredible. She has a momentary fantasy of marrying an old man and taking everything from him when he dies. She's heartwarming.
Yeah, she is.
True manifestation, the way she was staring off at the distance and actually visualizing it, you could see. I love her.
The ocean was her dream board.
Yeah.
You can tell when someone's third eye is engaged.
Yeah. Hey, one thing, are you going to talk about what Sandy said to RayGun?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, well, I have I like to solve problems on this podcast, right? So RayGun she gets the marching orders from Sandy, like, hey, quit fucking up and, start doing stuff right? So then she goes and she finds Storm, and she basically talks to him, and they didn't have subtitles, and he's staring at her, right? Because he doesn't know what the hell she's saying.
Yeah.
But I think he's getting the gist. But here's where I solve the problem. She does a couple good things, right? She knows how to suck down that ciggy.
Yeah.
Smoke signals. Just people are really good at those circles.
Yeah.
Just communicate that way.
Right. So you're saying that she could achieve a Gandalf level type of communication with
right.
smoke.
Yeah.
Wow.
It'd be amazing.
Problem solved, I guess. Yeah.
Or actually, like the wind talkers,
Right.
which the U.S. military employed to.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know the
Yes,
story.
everybody does. So
I don't.
Evidently,
Sig circles.
Tosh is not rejuvenated after the shower sex, and neither is Dave. They're being very catty, and once again, I'm getting exhausted by these two. I love how she's having quote unquote second thoughts about this. Mm-hmm. I understand that he's being overwhelming, but you initiated is kind of not a big enough word. She kind of, I don't know. She was the Svengali of this entire fucking thing.
Well, you're giving her a little too much credit for
what are you talking
having.
About? She literally put him in her room, jumped out, spooked him. She was so into this relationship 6 days ago.
Because it's driven by emotions. But now she didn't plan on getting sick of his dumb ass. Like no one ever plans on getting sick of someone. So that's the part I'm saying she didn't do. She didn't say, oh, I'd like some free dick for like 3 weeks and then I'll, just sleep in my own bunk moving forward. She slept with this guy. She watched him be emasculated. Her fault, by the way. And
partly it's his fault too.
His too, yeah. They both have a thing to play, but the more emasculated he becomes, the more unattractive he becomes to her.
Sure.
And that's where we are at. And I feel bad because he really should lay the law down and go like, I ain't sleeping here anymore, and you aren't getting my dick stick.
Yeah, no dick stick for you.
No more.
And you're right though. I'm giving the C-Rat too much credit because who could project upon them the logic and reason to see that if you lock yourself in a room that is 5 by 5 with 2 bunk beds for somebody, things are going to get a little messy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Natasha's not that. She doesn't have that kind of foresight. I'm being sarcastic.
C-Rat.
She does have that foresight. She's a banshee. She didn't care.
Hey, I'll tell you what Dave needs to do. He needs to stop feeding that banshee, and she'll be coming back every night.
Okay. That's Pat's book.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say, Dave, if you're a listener, I can fix this for you. Hit me up. I'll give you a copy of my book, Cracking the Code: How to Close More Ass for Less Money.
Penguin Random House is not letting you send out any more advanced copies to people. You're going to get in a lot of trouble with one of the major publication houses in the country. I just stop doing what you're doing. You can't keep handing this book out.
All right, Dave, I'll send you a chapter. It's called Treat Them Like Dirt, They Stick Like Mud.
Okay.
And I mean, you don't even have to send him the chapter because though it sounds crass what Pat is saying, it honestly, you could find the same philosophy in the Bhagavad Gita. He's just talking about detachment. If you relent, it will come to you. Okay, it's the same
every
thing.
time.
He is Vedanta.
Yeah, no, the book's introduction is written by a rishi named Vedanta. So it's an exciting book. I'm excited for people to read about it, and I'm excited to move on to this incredible sponsor.
Hey, there's a lot of different ways you can take care of your mind. You can meditate. You could go out on a walk. You could, let's see, what else could you do? Cook, do graffiti. You could, I don't know, maybe if you love your job, you unwind at your job, but a lot of people don't even have that kind of thing going on, and they need some help with their mental health. Thank God, Betterhelp is here to save the day. I've had experience with traditional therapy, and I've had experience with Betterhelp, and let me tell you which one's better. It's Betterhelp. So, Betterhelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat-only therapy sessions, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and in-person therapy doesn't even really exist right now. If you want to try to get a therapy appointment to see somebody like, Dr. Melfi, it's gonna be a couple months. So if you need mental health help, go to BetterHelp.com/BelowDeck to get 10% off your first month. Our listeners will get 10% off their first month by going to BetterHelp.com/BelowDeck.
Hey guys, it's time to get sexy. You know what freaking time it is. It's time to talk about Dame, okay? Dame is a unbelievable company that is probably the leader in
Saving marriages,
saving self-esteem, having a healthy sex life, but also they have created robots that are uncomfortably close to ushering in the singularity, but they are not. Things like the Eva, though, could confuse you. Their first, most iconic product, the first hands-free couple vibrator designed to enhance partner play without getting in the way. It's really not trying to measure you like an anaconda. It just wants to help, okay?
And there are hands-free single-person vibrators, but this is a hands-free couple vibrator, which means you got 4 fucking hands to add to the fun. Can I say fuck in this ad? I
don't know if you can, but turn yourself into an octopus with the Eva, okay? Also, they have the we talked about it last week. You pop it close to your vagina, and it will kind of swoosh up the good part where all the nerves are, and
also
it'll feel so great.
Also, the sex oil, which is in my top 3 favorite oils.
Go to dameproducts.com/belowdeck for 15% off your entire order. Go to dameproducts.com and use promo code below deck for 15% off your order.
Call to action. All the barnacles that are freaky deeks, get your freaky deaky on. Buy the product, post it on Facebook, and I'll review what I think about that photo.
Post a picture of your man smiling after a test case of the product.
Alrighty. I was a little weirded out by, or not weirded out, confused by Natasha's concern for the other crew members, knowing that they are in a relationship. One, because they already do, because of how forthright they are
have eyeballs.
With how they're in a relationship. And 2, I mean, they're all C-rats. They don't fucking care about anything. They care about booze and money.
Yeah, what kind of judgment could they cast down?
Right, yeah.
Oh my God. Did you hear they're like hooking up?
Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
What do you care?
All of them are like, I think C-rats, one thing we don't talk about, it's a narcissism. They're like, what can I do? I'm going to go travel the world, find what I need to find, blah, 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 blah. So when they hear news like that, they're like, how come I'm not fucking anybody? They're not jealous of anything. Or they are jealous of something. They're not thinking about, I don't like this person now.
Well, it could bubble up a Lord of the Flies type dangerous envy, though.
Or imagine if Natasha and Dave weren't banging, and then Kyle and Natalya are talking like, did you hear these two aren't fucking each other? And like Kyle's like, what a bunch of losers.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it could go that way too, but we've got to get to a meanwhile.
Meanwhile,
RayGun leads. She says, get all the toys in the water, and breakfast is served. The crew guests say that they are the crew guests. The guests say that the chef has gone above and beyond with the food, which is bacon and eggs. Kyle wakes and asks if they are hanging balls. This is an expression for morning after alcohol poisoning that I haven't really ever heard before.
I think he just really, if you'll note later on in the episode, he actually likes to throw in those, what do you call those? Not anecdotes, but he like sneaks in like a pun. He says, are you all happy, penis? Well, did you just say penis? No.
Oh, you're saying he's phallically obsessed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Got it.
He also said something about an asshole last week.
Okay.
Subliminal messaging.
It's a little on the nose to be subliminal.
Okay, so speaking of Kyle.
That was actually a tip I learned from this show called The X Show. It was kind of the FX's answer to the Man Show in the mid-90s.
Yeah, it's crazy that anyone watched that.
I was 9.
And it's still crazy that you watched that.
Fucking loved The X Show. I was like, these guys are pretty legit. There's a couple of them, I can't remember who was on it, but they have gone on to do other things. I'd have to look it up. Maybe we'll do an expose on The X Show on another podcast show.
Yeah, maybe. This is like when somebody tells you they've seen all of Oz, and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But not as bad.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, so I was 9. I was watching The X Show, the FX's answer to the Man Show.
Yes.
And they had a pickup artist on, and he said, like, that's one way to, like, lure women. I've always remembered this. He's like, you sneak in, like, innuendos. Like, we should really get inside those guts.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good
these
one.
people sound so brilliant. I'm so confused about why they're not still on the air. God, that makes me so mad when people profess to be experts and then give bad advice.
He's taunting, but that's how I tricked Dylan into doing a podcast.
All right, so speaking of Kyle, he is thriving.
I was like,
more and
Mike,
more, and the buddy show we all need. He and Natalya. He tells her that she looks beautiful this morning and then says it's because he hasn't put his contacts in. The relationship these two have is just so beautiful.
Sick burn.
Is there somebody named Jason?
Well, yeah, that's the deckhand.
Oh, Idaho.
Indiana J.
Idaho, yeah.
Indiana
J. He's dissatisfied with the work he's doing. Pat, can I get a wah? Thank you.
I think Indiana J is like the perfect mnemonic device. I'll never forget his name because of that.
I will. So Dave is lamenting his and Natasha's failed arrangement further. Who cares? Figure it out. But listen, he does have a solid gripe. Why did we move in together if we weren't going to do the whole thing that we talked about? And we've covered this ad nauseum. Moving on to another meanwhile. Storm educates the charter guest on the best times to drink. Being in the day, I like his logic. You drink in the day, you're asleep before 10. You can wake it up or sleep it off and wake up the next morning. The problem is dealing with the headache that you get at 5:30, 6 o'clock, right when the sun is going down. It's too much for me. Day drinking is, I think it's in my past.
It's in your past.
I think it's in my past. Every once in a while, though.
I love day drinking, but you can't cross the line with it.
Because you do get to that precipice where you go, I got to shut it down, take an Advil, drink a water, eat a cheeseburger, maybe 4, or I can keep going and turn into full-blown Mr. Hyde.
And then you go to bed at 8:30. And that's sad on a Friday night.
You come home, don't remember getting dropped off, face plant in your driveway, and then you get in a huge fight with your wife.
Right. So Dave is lamenting, already covered that. Moving on to more meanwhile. Natalya and or her twin joke about having a huge taco, a huge vagina with one of the inflatables.
I love some comedy humor.
Yes. Carrot Top is very underrated. And
Kyle's like Carrot Bottom. I stole that joke. Someone said it.
Sandy starts to see the wind whipping up. The guests have a good swim, and then they head back for monkey brain shots, which is it continues to be a very weird signature thing from Natasha. Timeshare heads down and says, hey, what a great picture you guys are taking. You're all in it. Just to update you guys, vacation's
Party's
pretty much over. Yeah. You know, the vacation that's super expensive that you're on, it's pretty much done. She needs to work on her bedside manner.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a very, very tricky docking coming up. We've got wind, we've got currents, and we've got dolphins. Now, I was watching this with my father and my wife. Now, this is one of my father's first viewings.
He's in town?
He was in town last week. And
we got to have him in studio.
We were watching this, and Sandy was speaking of the dolphins. She said, I'm worried about the dolphins in the water. And my dad said, I would let the dolphins worry about me. I'm in a big fucking boat. And I thought, herein lies the confusion, because it is a crazy thing to be worrying about the dolphins. They'll get out of the way. They're incredibly smart creatures, and you're a giant boat. But she was referring to those things.
The pizzas.
The pizzas.
They happen to be round, too.
Right,
you know?
right.
Just call them pizzas.
Just call them pizzas.
Wouldn't that lend credence to why they shouldn't be called pizza and we should find a third option? Because you didn't want dolphins because it's too close to dolphins. Now you're like, oh, they're round. They're like pizzas.
Well, but you don't often find a pizza just floating in the sea, Nick.
I get it. So as the similarity is enough where you're like, oh, that makes sense that it would be called that, yet it doesn't originally be in the ocean.
Or call it something crazy like AIDS. Hey, watch out for the AIDS.
No. Just call it a square. You won't get confused that way.
I think we go back to pizza. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't forgive you. So let's get ready to dock. But before we do,
I thought you were going to say to rumble.
We move on. I just really quickly want to bring up Natasha's recipe for spicy margaritas. Man, it's so crazy. The spicy component to the spicy margaritas is green Tabasco, I believe, which is a savory hot sauce. And not only does it add salt to a fruity drink, it turns it shit green, like baby puke green. It's truly mind-blowing that they do not have a couple extra jalapenos laying around, chuck a couple of them in the blender. just maybe a little seed, but or just shake it with a jalapeno in there. Let's not put Tabasco in margaritas.
They didn't complain. It might possibly be a quick life hack there.
No, it absolutely cannot be. There's just zero possible way. But I don't want to get hung up on this.
There's a long history of the stews not being able to make spicy margaritas. I believe it was
Messy Jessie?
Simone?
Yeah.
Was her name Simone that could not make a spicy margarita? We were in Adam Carolla's studio when we talked about it.
No, it was Jessica.
It was Jessica Moore.
Who is,
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Messy Jessie.
She's pregnant. So luckily, we've got Storm here as we get ready to dock because our bosun is unfortunately smashing pizza rolls into her face below deck. Storm handles things and then kind of softly in a managerial kind of way scolds her a little bit once she gets up top. He's like, we're just doing all this stuff, It's kind of like if a subordinate took too long a break and then came back up. And you're like, hey, we're all working. What's going on? But she's his boss.
Right.
Storm
so it makes it very weird.
I feel like he's doing an incredible job of kind of taking control but not overstepping his bounds. It's like literally pushing it to the limit where it's like, okay, we're fucked if I don't do this.
Right.
And he's a good leader. Storm's a good guy. Probably has some really dark demons that we don't know about yet.
Of course.
Of course.
So, two best friends that anyone could have. Kyle just slams Natalya in the face with a laundry bag.
I think he's ready to switch teams.
Pat, what a dumb fucking thing to say.
I don't know. A lot of sexual innuendos going on between those two.
Almost zero. He literally called her unattractive early in the episode.
Oh, he did?
Then he hit her
in a mirror.
All right. Please don't speak ill of Kyle. Kyle's
I'm enjoying Kyle.
I would love to talk to Kyle. We're trying to talk to Kyle. I would like to talk to him about Housewives, which we cover on Patreon, Beverly Hills.
All right,
Patreon.com/Another Podcast Network. I was going to say, and I forgot.
Let's get to the docking. Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so RayGun is very comfortable with docking, and we learn a little bit of her background, but I don't know what she said. I've just never heard English spoken this way before in my entire life.
She was. It was funny. I did listen to this part, and I watched it a couple times so I could gather. And she was talking about how much experience she had, and and how confident she was in her docking abilities. So it was quite comical if you were able to understand.
Well, she should blame Vertigo because I don't fucking think she was calling 3 meters.
Okay, don't get ahead of yourself.
That was an insane moment.
Right before we get there, I'd like to quickly talk about Noah. He is a shining archetype of white privilege, right? But with that being said,
thank you.
He's not as bad as he could be. I mean, if we want to talk about Daddy Warbucks Jr.'s, we've seen some real pieces of shit on this show. Oh, yeah. He's 22. He's from Coeur d'Alene. I mean, that's like old money / new money. It's obscene wealth. I understand that he has a punchable face and he is white privilege embodied, but he's just like really not.
He's really fun and likable.
Yeah, he's just.
I don't want to presume too much, but it seems like a little bit more of a background. And obviously, he's 22 and he's on this yacht and he's making small talk.
What do you listen to? Preference sheets. Preference sheet meeting.
I didn't hear it. Nick sometimes goes off the rails on those preference sheet meetings. I don't know if you.
This wasn't one of those times. They gave pretty specifics on Kyle.
Okay, fair enough. Now
Kyle said why Noah said, "Why drive when a plane gets you there, or when a private jet gets you there faster?"
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that type I punch him in the face for that.
Yeah.
Also, later on in the episode, not to get ahead of myself, but it was just a quick little moment when he was on the tender and Z was driving, and they was like, "Got to pass." He's like, "Hey, Z, got to break rules to feel like you're living." Hey, little silver spooned punk face.
Right.
Shut your fucking pie hole.
Yeah, and he's black and doesn't have a father who knows every lawyer and $4 billion in the bank.
And had zero resistance from 0 to 22. Why don't you step in his shoes before you offer your little tidbits about life?
Right.
I don't.
You piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Maybe
like
he
you.
is that bad. Yeah.
That initially, God, I can't even talk because I'm so torn in both ways.
Yeah.
It initially bumped me when he did say that. Like, what a thing to say. But ultimately, I agree with Dylan's point. He's like the best case scenario being handed every. I wanted to get through it without coughing, but I couldn't. He's best case scenario being handed every single whim in life. And just like Andrew Tate said, I agree with this kid's philosophy, because just like Andrew Tate said, if you believe in the law-abiding citizen, the last 3 years have taught you nothing. It is archaic view.
Wow. So let's do something really quickly. This is we're all equals here. So I'm just going to ask you. And you don't have to, accept me, but I do want you to hear me as a partner.
I'm worried.
Never mention the name Andrew Tate ever again on this podcast. Not fucking once. Now, that's just an ask from me. But when...
Oh, I was going to cover him on APS. He's awesome.
He's awesome. Not awesome. He should be... He's maybe not killed, but he's just one of the most disgusting
comedic genius.
I thought you were going to ask if we could move on. Can I do a meanwhile? These guests, while they're docking, seem really bored, and I don't blame them. But like a true sea rat problem solver, Natalya comes over and she suggests for them like what they're going to do stuck at a deck. She says, "How about a male stripper?" And I was thinking, I know you've been, these little silver spoon punks have been sucking down those sugar drinks all day that you've been feeding them.
Monkey brain shots.
They're not complete trash.
No.
Male stripper.
Yeah.
What a sea rat thing to do.
I didn't have anything.
I didn't either.
I didn't have anything.
I think it actually speaks to what we talk about. These kids, though privileged, they're not like complete like degenerates. Because some kids, like the Queen of Versailles' son, would have leapt all over that, be like, make sure she'll do extra for extra money.
Right.
Where these kids are like, please don't do that.
Yeah, he's got something.
He does.
He had something.
The other thing is, I compare all these charter guests, and they're completely nice and polite, as children as opposed to rich, spoiled brats, because they're bored. And what do bored children do? Because I have a child. They start asking questions. Oh, what do you do? What's your name? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. What are you trying to write a book about me?
Yeah,
Go sit down there and drink the sugar drinks.
Yeah, you don't like when people pry into you too much.
No.
All right.
Rob Deerdeck's trying to teach his 3-year-old negotiation, and he wanted like an extra ice cream bar or something at night. And the kid negotiated. He said he likes to ask a bunch of questions before bed, and he annoys his dad. But Rob refuses to not answer the questions. He likes the kid being inquisitive. But the kid negotiated. He goes, "Dad, if I can have one of these, I won't ask you any more questions tonight." And it was a proud moment for Rob Deerdeck.
Wow.
So you should try that with your daughter. Teach her negotiation.
Thanks, pal.
Okay, so let's get to the docking and the difference between 1 and 3 meters. RayGun calls out that Sandy has got almost 10 feet of room when she really has less than 3, which is a huge difference. She needs to leave this boat and go try to save the universe or open up an incense shop. I'm not really sure what she is on planet Earth to do, but it's either something cosmically huge or, selling Nag Champa and just getting blackout drunk on the weekends.
I have like a weirdly different vibe, although we both agree that she's absolutely not cut out for her current role. But instead of incense headshot type vibe, I get like
Fifth Element saving the universe. I said there was either the incense or that.
Also that, but also like leather skirt, front row at the whiskey for some screamo band. Let's get drunk and dance.
It's not a career though, Nick. He's offering career choices.
Yeah.
But somehow
I'm plotting a path forward.
Yeah. Fair enough, but somehow I don't think she's into incense more. She's been into more. She'd work at like a record store.
I'll one up. Yeah, I think she should do that little skating thing where the girls punch each other while they roller skate.
I want to see her do roller derby. Absolutely.
There you go.
So it's called, what's that movie with? It's been remade twice. Rollerball, is that it? All right, moving on. So RayGun calls out. We already did that. So the worst part about RayGun is how frustrated she gets with other people. Fight right, fight right, fight fucking fight right. It's just like, what? She gets so flustered as she starts speaking in that language that's not English and starts getting, fucking pissy at everybody. Just get fired already. It's your fault.
And the second time she's been pretty short with a paying customer, I think Noah's asking a lot of questions of Indiana Jason.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, where are you from? RayGun walks over and says, beat it.
Yeah. Can't talk to him right now. You can't be speaking.
Huh?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right, so we need to speak about Dave. He says that he's lost his mind. And Natasha says that she feels bad about this. I think that's a bit of a lie. I don't think I needed to cover that. We can get to lunch.
Let's get to lunch.
Could I tell you something that could help Dave with that little conundrum?
Yeah.
It's a little magical once daily elixir known as Magic Mind.
Oh, Magic Mind.
Magic Mind is a once daily elixir.
I told you.
That will help you hum throughout your day, okay? Don't take Adderall. Don't take Celsius. Don't take Riot. Don't take Rain. Don't take Red Bull. And don't drink Monster. Be a rock star, but not with rock star. Be a rock star with Magic Mind. It's got 12 natural ingredients like echinacea and matcha. It's just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And you need to smash the Bachelor fans by outspending money better than them at magicmind.co and use promo code
Sandy.
Yeah.
And the deal still stands. You take a photo of you buying that Magic Mind, and old Patty will mail you $20.
You got it.
Okay, we do have to talk about this, but I want to wrap up this read.
Yeah.
Really impassioned speech. You're not just against the Bachelor fans. You're also against the new breed of Down Under fans. So for all you Sandy heads out there, show your support. Go to magicmind.co, use promo code Sandy, and prove that you're the number one Below Deck fans over those Down Under guys or the Bachelorette fans. And Pat, you just said $20. You said $20 on the last read.
Yes.
And then, push comes to shove, one of our baby barnacles.
I reached out to Tara.
And you guys got it settled up?
I said, what's your address?
And you said, I will send you $6.
Right.
What?
We negotiated.
You doing 3 easy payments, Pat? You better give this woman $20.
Look, this is why I talk to Bravo PR. I know how to negotiate with people, okay? You stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. $6 coming your way, Tara.
Well, hang on. Here's a question, though. Let's say we're in 2 different lanes, right? And you are murdering someone in your lane. Now, Nick has a choice. He can stay in his lane or he can intervene, right? And it's a little bit of a false equivalency because you're not killing anybody, but you are killing your word, which may, in fact, be a worse crime.
And such a hard hypothetical, Dylan, because if that were to happen, I believe I would not understand what was happening, and I'd drive past it, and then
by too fast,
and it would stick in my mind. I'd be like, what did I just see? Yeah. And then weeks later, I'd see something on the news about it, and I'd be like, oh, my God.
That was my fault.
And
go to magicmind.co, enter in promo code Sandy.
And, hey, and let the character you started off with, Magic Mind would help RayGun. Go from Ray No Fun to RayGun again by using Magic Mind.
All right, so lunch looks incredible.
I ultimately may end up killing myself knowing I could have saved that murder that Pat was committing.
And thank God Magic Mind doesn't really listen to our reads all that much because I doubt they would want to speak of suicide.
They say let it fly.
Yep. So lunch looks incredible. Beef ribs and fried fish and salsa, and it's all great. Didn't get a lot, but we'll have dinner later. Another buddy moment from Natalya. I don't remember what happened first, but as I was stoned and trying to remember it,
and then they had like 8 of them.
Yeah, so that was the note. So I saw this wonderful moment, and then the show kept going, and I was so high that I couldn't remember what I had seen, and then right as I was like, what did I think? Another one popped up. It's just so thick and fast with him. He shits his pants, and they both laugh.
Yeah, everything he does is wittier than the next until the farting while he laughs. Well, still funny, not exactly witty. But one time she said she felt like she was in the brothel in the laundry room.
Yeah.
He's like, that's because you're in the...
Yeah. Maybe that was what I forgot. So the tender is allowed in the water. And this is when RayGun takes it upon herself to do one of the 2 things she excels in. Smoking and taking breaks to eat. Yeah.
Hey, Dylan, just to wrap up, so we did actually end up hitting the pizza, and Sandy went to go check, and then she's going to speak with some of the staff on how the fuck this happened. She was truly embarrassed because apparently in her career she's never hit anything.
Thing, right.
So I felt a little bad about her. All right, I don't want to say anything to RayGun because it was a true crime to mistake 3 feet for 1 foot. It's pretty tight there, but she did. But it does have a rubber inner tube around it, and it is movable. So while you hit it, I love how Bravo added like Jurassic Park sound effects. We're going.
Right.
Yeah, that's not what it sounds like when you bounce up against rubber.
Right.
Nice job.
Yeah, so you're saying chill, not a big deal.
Yeah, it was not a big deal.
All right, so moving on to a moment that happens next in the show, which is this. Sandy is trying to figure out what she's going to do because she has this incompetent universal weapon aboard that does not know how to do bosun shit. And these text chyrons are just so Svengali. I don't even know if this was actually what they texted, but it's just so hammy. It's so heavy-handed. Hey, do you have any replacements? No. Do you have a stew that might be able to fit into the role? I mean, Bravo, come on, man. Come on. So, moving on.
I don't even get where that's heading. What stew could move to the deck?
It's so obvious that Storm... Or not a stew, a deckhand.
okay.
Deckhand, my bad. Yeah, it's very obvious that they're grooming Storm for this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they might have cast that on purpose. So, moving on. Dave is a coward and is getting mentally nuked by Natasha. But you know what? I want to get on to two people who we actually ship. That's Natalya and Storm. You know? A bad note, nothing on them, but we do ship them.
Well,
we all
bounced
ship them.
3 times they cut to the two of them and the playfulness that they have. I think at some point, at this point in the show, he visits her in the laundry room. Was he the one who accused her? No, he came in, I just want to see you, and then they joke around. They're definitely going to be in a hot tub, I think, at some point.
It'll be fun. They'll have fun. And you were going with the most recent information you had. I also was one of us that shipped them. But I just think she gets on with anybody. And whoever is in this role, as long as they're not a fucking asshole.
Right.
Or like the super horny douchebag.
Right.
Deckhand.
Do Adrian?
Oh, do you like my meat?
Yeah.
Hey,
Adrian.
can you find some meat down there? Hey, I like my meat.
Or the Adrian, or the Ashtons, or the Tylers. She smells that.
I'm not misogynistic. I that's not his accent. How does it go? He's South African trash, I think. We were sitting outside smoking, and he said, I'm not misogynistic. I love having women on the boat, and it gives you something to look at. And I just looked at him, and I said, oh, God, why do I have so much of this cigarette left? I don't want to fucking talk to you.
That's when you say, I got to get a drink.
Yeah.
And then
I just shit my pants. I'm so sorry. I have to go tend to this.
But before you got in there, he's like, you know why women wear makeup and perfume?
Why?
Because they're ugly and they smell bad.
Okay,
That's
so-
what Ashton said, but I didn't finish my point.
Yeah, sorry.
She sniffs out that type of douchebag who's just trying to get in your pants a mile away. But any competent individual, she'll flirt with, get in the hot tub, and have a good time.
I hope so.
But won't get in a
Well,
relationship.
are you calling her a whore?
No, I'm saying she's so cool. I don't necessarily ship her and Storm. I ship her. I love her.
I shouldn't use that word. I mean,
I shouldn't. Oh, you shouldn't?
Yeah, I shouldn't. I mean, she's, I don't even think that she is sex positive, but she probably is. What is going on in this world? Why am I so scared to do this?
Just trust your intention, Dylan.
All right. So, a lot of people have had great success with just saying I intended well.
Well, they didn't. If they didn't, who cares?
Great intention when I said that.
You can't care about the consequences. You just have to trust that you did the right thing.
So, moving back to two people who, Natasha and Dave, she slides by, closes the cabinet. It barely touches Dave, and he uses it as a melodramatic lure to try to get her to care for him.
Great observation.
Yes.
But she does not.
No, she does not. And this is actually has the exact opposite effect. She knows that she didn't slam his fingers and that. It's weird that he's doing this. Mm-hmm. She's more repulsed than ever.
Let me give some advice. And this is a new segment on our coverage of this podcast. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is where Patty gives advice. Okay. Natasha.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What's the
Patty's advice time?
Got it.
Never.
Hey,
Never.
you know what's so crazy?
Yeah.
You know what that acronym spells?
What?
Pack.
Pat.
Pat.
Yeah.
Pack.
Patty's advice time.
Oh, I thought you said Patty's advice.
All right, now it's time for Pat, and I'm going to keep it brief. Thanks for dragging this out.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Never be a rebound. Never be a rebound, especially off an affair. And
Right.
you're the other person in that affair. Thanks for my music.
Yep.
It's got too much bad juju. even if it starts working out for 6 months and it's not crumbling apart this quickly as it is for Dave and Natasha, you will, as the participant in this affair, always look at that person that cheated on someone else to be with you and just start thinking, when is my time where that person starts cheating on me to be to the next person?
And that concludes Pat.
Pat, that's it.
Pat serves up some red pill.
No, Nick.
What?
What?
His cracking the code is like pickup artist red pill shit from
What
the
is
game.
red pill?
I don't think that has anything to do with Republicans.
I don't think it's red pill.
You're not in the Reddit then.
Okay, get off Reddit. It doesn't exist, and it's a bad place. So,
I read both sides of the extremes of
with
the weirdos.
that being said, I just have to see what's going on with Manchester United. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo just cannot get off our team fast enough. It's so sad. So, he tells Natasha, or he says maybe in an OTF, that he's in love and he's been made to feel like shit. And this is where my wife and I had a debate about this. Who's worse in this relationship? They both suck. I think she's evil, but he's so pathetic. Case in point, he goes, I just wish I could talk to her. Mm-hmm. You could. You weak bird. What?
Well, they're not supposed to talk.
You went in to go talk to her, and she said, come on into the shower. And while I know that is a tempting siren song, if you had any wits about you, you would go, hey, let's not do this. Can we actually talk about this? But no, you just have sex with her, and then you cry, and you bake fresh bread.
That pretty much sums it up.
Doesn't work.
No.
It's not going to work.
That's not a bad life.
So dinner is served: prawn, tagine, grilled aubergine, fancy way of saying eggplant, grilled rack of lamb, a light couscous, and he does do incredible things with desserts. He's used the same template a couple times. I believe it's some type of cheesecake with a beautiful garnish on top. With that being said, he does do lovely things with desserts, and he is a good chef. I mean, he's scratch baking bread every single morning. He is much, much better than fucking pigeon face chef rat, pizza rat fucking Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, if you're listening, we don't need to deal with Bravo. We can go mano y mano, toe-to-toe with each other on this podcast. You just hit up Nick on the social medias. I know you follow us. And we'll arrange a little conversation between you and us.
Yeah, but we might ask Bravo, just see what they say. But, we'd love to talk to you, Ryan. I want to ask so many things.
And Bravo.
Why are you like this? Would be one of the questions.
Bravo, don't worry. If we do talk to him, we're going to make him look as bad as possible.
Yeah. So the meal looks wonderful. I know he wanted to dig a hole and cook all this, but he does a great job regardless. I would give this meal 80 pots. Moving on to a little bit of a meanwhile. Buddy moments all around. Kyle says he wants to slam Tosh in the face with a pillow. And then we've got some fun stuff with Storm and Z talking about who pissed on the toilet. Mine's clearer than yours. Don't accuse me of that.
At one point, it was earlier when Z was talking about Storm being a natural-born leader, or maybe it was Storm talking about himself being a natural-born leader, and he was captain of the water polo team.
I think it was Z, yeah.
I believe they showed a picture of Storm playing water polo sans stash, which I believe they also said he has had since he was 13. Mm-hmm. Unless he was a full-grown man with 5 o'clock shadow pre-13, I think they were lying.
Yeah.
And I think that was very important to mention.
Yeah, it was important to mention because we can't be lied to like that. I mean, we can only go so far with this show.
I guess he's not the perfect Storm.
So buddy moments all around, like I said, except from Dave and Natasha. They have a really productive, another one of their trademark productive whispery chats that they want to do. Gosh, man.
You're weirding me out.
Okay, so let's talk about this conversation because I think...
Or we could talk about that horrible tattoo on his arm.
Well, he's got a lot of crazy tattoos, but he's got a phenomenal six-pack, so they balance each other out. Now, I want to couch this again. I know it takes two to tango, but is this not like... She's a gaslighter and a spell slinger. I am like... I'm so torn with who's the 60 and who's the 40 here. Mm-hmm. The way that she speaks to him, the language is very heavy. You're freaking me out. I don't know what you're going to do. And then the coldness to end conversations that she can equip. I don't like her energy. I understand Dave's energy because I cried just for 3 months straight when I was trying to court my wife. I mean, I have stuff to work on, but guys do crazy things when they're in love. I am concerned by how cold she is.
Yeah.
I'm also concerned by how cold she is. I don't like her energy, but I think more of the blame lies with him because it's pretty. It goes back to what Pat's saying. Like, the pattern she's going to fall into. If he just looked at this like, oh, I had a fling with this hot stew, he could be just having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
But instead,
He's
he has to
emotionally
get.
tied, yeah.
Dude, you're a fucking chef who skis and does flips and shit. You'll be fine. Just enjoy this.
Right.
Get your following and open up a restaurant,
Right.
you idiot.
Yes.
Did you know the time span? Because I've read books on this because I've done a lot of research to get over something like this. It's actually just 30 days. 30 days, remove yourself from the situation, and you'll laugh about how stupid you were.
I heard actually it was comedian Chris Stefano say this on some podcast, but they did a study, and there's literally like a love chemical that you can trace, and I heard 3 weeks, but it's got to be
right on there. Yeah.
Yes. It 3 to 4 weeks, but it's got to be complete cold turkey, cut off, no looking at pictures, no fucking
love the ones you're with and lose the ones you love. So he is shutting down and she's prying. I dig this strategy. Oh, this is the next morning. He's shutting down. She's trying to pry a little bit. I dig this strategy. It's very pouty, but it's what we've been talking about. Just shut down, end things. If she's freaked out and is scared of what you're gonna do, just be cold for a little bit and then keep it platonic. The only thing is this is a pouty little act and he has no conviction towards this whatsoever.
And by the way, so palpable in the air because you're running in and out of the galley as a coworker that they're trying to hide this secret relationship from. It's like, what are these two all being weird about?
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder what would be that all be about.
Right. They're probably not dating. It's probably something else. But yeah, this was like Jenna and Adam all over again when people walk into the kitchen and she's just like, well, I guess we can talk about this later then.
And then
What the fuck is going on with YouTube?
And then she walks away, and someone walks in, and he's just like angrily chopping shit.
I hate women. You all right? Get the fuck out of here. So, Sandy speaks to Storm a little bit before the end of the episode. And I don't know who the girl in the moving on here in my notes. These are all over the place, but the girl in the Hawaiian shirt and the white tank top, that's kind of her uniform. Mm-hmm. I believe she was one of the poors that they brought along.
I believe that was the friend from college who was kind of outside the friend group, and she's melding quite well by being fun, but she's a bit much.
No, I don't think she's a bit much
no,
at
she's
all.
great. She's great.
I love her so much. She takes a bite of that toast and has a great comedic pregnant pause and goes, "Wow." I mean, she's just unbelievable.
I sound like a sycophant now, but I actually liked her too. But I was trying to
sycophant means that you follow her, you worship her.
No, I sound like a sycophant to you because
okay.
I agree. I actually did like her.
Yeah.
Initially, I was just Andy because I thought that's where you were going. We're trying to wrap the show, but
Right.
But I loved her too.
No, she's great. She's
great.
really,
I'm gonna miss
really
these
great.
guys.
Yeah.
She reminds me of that weatherman who got 7 hits of snow lightning. YouTube that video immediately if you haven't seen it. It's a guy. He's more excited about this than I've ever seen anyone get excited about anything in my life. Just if it want to be, it's just it'll make you smile. Go look it up. So, like I said, Sandy speaks to Storm a little bit. He will be the next bosun, but we have more important things. We have to line up for the tip. Z says that it was tough for the deck team. So tough, in fact, that he's ready to tip a couple back. A couple? You're going to headbutt the floor tonight. You always do, Z. What are we talking about? A couple, man.
And it's not because it was a tough charter. Let's just call a spade, Z. It's because you're an alcoholic.
Let's get to the tip.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, can we wrap this up?
Let's get to the tip.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be a dick, but I think it's time to go.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so they leave, and they leave a tip. It's 19 grand. That's right, middle of the road there for all the Richie McRiches. 1,727. 1727 each, and then I was gonna say one thing. Sandy exits that tip meeting and she says, "Have fun out tonight." And how presumptuous of you, unless you are now part of this show where you understand they'll be setting up and the cameras will all be going in a van. This is still supposed to be reality TV, Sandy. So please do not pull the curtain back that you realize that every night out
what
after
a bizarre
tip
thing to take umbrage with.
Forgive me. And the episode ends with Sandy calling RayGun up to the bridge.
Yep, calls RayGun up to the bridge. The credits roll, and we get our to be continued card. Man, it's going to be such an M. Night Shyamalan twist next week when she is I mean, we don't know. That's why it's an M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, she would have had to
type
hire
twist.
someone before she does it.
Yeah, join us on Facebook, join us on YouTube, join us in the iTunes reviews, join us on Patreon, and help all of our sponsors out. We love you very, very, very much for supporting us.
I need 30 more seconds, guys. What do we think happens? Because honestly, for once, I'm actually torn, and I don't know. They may go.
We've found a bosun.
Or I think they may go a deckhand down.
She would have had to have worked that out with Storm prior.
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. I'm just asking for predictions. I think they have 3 seemingly competent dudes.
She's going to fire her in the beginning of next episode.
And they go with deckhand down?
Yeah.
We'll see.
There it is.
That's what I put the over-under at 6 episodes. We're coming in at the 5th. I think I'm going to win that bet. She is one of the most incompetent human beings to ever work on this show, but possibly it's because she is not a human being. She is the 5th key we need to unlock a universal weapon. That's it for us. We'll be back next week. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Bon voyage.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.